in with our wind, with the wind blowing towards our tails, so we will make up the time. So the first thing on the agenda is to, here we go, Pledge of Allegiance, called to order, and I thought it was a separate line item. So I know, I'm still on vacation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we've got that, members present, we have 2 absent, they're excused, Jonathan Schinkler and Chris Feverly are absent. So that leaves Dave Lusick, Melissa Schlitz, and myself, Shannon McCafferty, as present. Next is approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda as presented.
Or
So we have a motion and support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, agenda approved. Next is the approval of the regular meeting minutes from last month.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes, March 10th, 2025.
or
So we have a motion and support. All in favor of approving the meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes approved. Then we have the treasurer's report. That's your purple paper in your packet.
She's doing her thing with these CDs. I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report ended March 31st, 2025.
or
So we have a motion and support, and since this is money, Pat, roll call, please.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. All right, treasurer's report approved. Next, bills and transfers for month ending March 31st, 2025.
And the minor roads, Sherry, that is, because it's like in, out, in. Is
Yeah.
that going into the bucket, the minor?
It's the, for Act 51 is the, we pay, we go through in and out. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve bills and transfers ending March 31st, 2025.
or
We have a motion and support, because it's funny, Pat, you know what to do.
Lucy.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. All right, bills and transfers approved. Next is, public comment. This public comment is for agenda items only. We ask if you do have public comment, state, your name, and remember it is comment, it's not question and answer. If we have an answer at the end, we'll, during council comments, we'll answer your question. If we are just, we have no idea, we'll defer it to, the staff and they will get back with you on your question. We don't want to give you wrong information. So is there any public comment on agenda items? Okay, I will close the public comment. And then we had reports. I'm gonna breeze through the administrator's report, just to, like I said, we're flying with tailwinds. So sorry, Sherry.
That's okay.
Public notice of noxious weeds and grass cuttings, were published according to our ordinance. Minutes of the Water and Waste, Service Advisory Committee is provided. Genesee County Metropolitan Planning Commission Transportation Safety Action Plan is also included. And the Village of Goodrich Republic Service Day will change from Wednesday to Tuesdays, effective the week of May 4th.
That is big news.
So May the 4th be with your trash.
Have any of you received a letter yet from her?
I have not received, I saw they said they're sending.
They're going to be sending letters to everyone about that. But it will
Okay.
begin May 4th, the week of May 4th.
So not to sound silly, May 4th is a, is it,
Tuesday.
so that's our first
Start your
Tuesday
first
is the
Tuesday
4th.
pickup,
Sorry,
yes.
that's-
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then
well,
What's it, do you know what our recycling calendar is? Is it that week?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look. They're
It's
gonna
still
send me a
regardless, it's
calendar.
Tuesday for recycling.
Yeah. Mhm.
Tuesdays,
Tuesday,
Tuesday, I look at the big picture here.
beginning May 4th, May the
Mhm.
4th. Be gone with your trash. Okay, so that was the administrative report. Matt, you got anything on DPW? I'll let you speak your DPW speak.
We're down to one bench, the guys are redoing. We have other ones done, we haven't put them out yet, so weather's been pretty.
Iffy.
I'm hoping we turn a corner after tomorrow, so did see rain and snow for tomorrow, hopefully, tomorrow we can get them out during. Both the trucks are back from the dealers, hopefully the kinks are worked out.
Nice.
We're good. Pickleball nets are up now, for people are more welcome to play pickleball out in the park. I'm gonna start grading, I've graded a few of the roads, obviously the frost is out of the ground now, so. That time of year. We've done some coal patching. We've done that. I've had 2 people look at the ladies museum now. I got a second person coming tomorrow, or Wednesday. Second person's coming to
Okay,
get some bids on a foundation.
okay, and just so everyone's aware, we didn't have anybody come in and bid on it. So to go, just to make sure that we're doing our due diligence for this, we asked just put it out there one more time, maybe try and contact some people in other, like maybe further away to see if they can come and give us some bids before they have to make a decision on do we not do anything with it? Do we keep it? Do we move it? What do we do with it? So, just so we did our due diligence, they did seek out other people to give quotes and they found 2. So we're trying. We can't, I mean, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them bid.
One more thing, our loader's soon approaching 2,000 hours on it, our loader backhoe. So we
Okay,
gotta have some stuff done to it, it's probably a couple thousand hours.
okay,
It's just routine maintenance.
okay, so
Just
maintenance
for-
on the back. Oh,
Yeah, just for future information.
yeah,
And I have a quick question for you, because somebody brought it to my attention. When sometimes the street sweeper goes through, is that something that we hire out, or is that only like something that Ken's did? What was with the street sweeper we've seen in the past?
We hired out.
Are you talking like in a subs or?
Yeah, just because like where the plow trucks that kind of hit some of the gravel in, is that something that do we have the abilities to hire out for a sweeper? Because they said, I think we've seen it come through before.
We've done before, like once in spring, I've been going on all the subs.
Yes, we usually do.
Okay, that's what I thought. I told them I would circle around and it's.
Yeah, I'm more welcome to call, if I recall the first sweep, I believe it's around 2,000 hours is what it was offhand. I gotta double check, but.
Okay, thank you.
And I got one more thing, we repaired today 2 curb sections in downtown. That's not, there's cones out right now.
yeah,
We'll take them all, we drying up by tomorrow, probably 40 weeks. We had 2 curb sections from plowing stuff that came loose. So. If anybody wants to know, this is the cones are up there for. So.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause like these were
wondered,
just
and then I was, when I came back through, I was like, oh, it looks like they did curb work.
Yeah, there's 2 spots there. So.
Oh, okay,
The rest of it ain't in the best of shape, but it's gonna have to work for now. It's just a rough curve, which is only just a thin little piece of concrete, about 6 inches down, that's it, just sits there.
oh,
So it
okay,
doesn't take much to.
so bang it up.
Yeah. So I have.
All right, thank you, Matt. Code enforcement, she's still working the dumpster issues with, some of the businesses. And she's, maintained contact with, some of the plaza folks on what to do there. So that's our, code enforcement. Building department. Flip, flip, flip. We've got some permit fees, total construction value of 18,000 and the total permit fees through March was $550 or for March was $550. So January, February, and March so far 2025 has been People are wanting to build stuff, whether it's a shed or whatever they're gonna put out, every penny matters. Then we have the fire department report and also the police department report for your reading pleasure. I don't see the sheriff here, so.
No, he's not here either. I forgot to
We
tell you
can't,
that.
we can't ask questions today. So we don't have any unfinished business, and now we can move on to new business. New business is adopt proclamation, Village of Goodrich National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 13th through the 19th, 2025.
And we have some people here from 911.
Hi.
Hi, do you wanna?
Just like, do we like approve this every year? Do we make it like a known thing every year, right? Yes.
Yeah, do you wanna speak on this or anything? So,
I can.
okay,
So it is, nationally every second week of February, or sorry, I keep thinking February, of April is dedicated for the National Telecommunicators Week. It's just to, observe and signify that, the hard work that they do and whatnot, give them the accolades that they deserve and they're seldom worthy.
awesome. Okay, so, do we wanna give them accolades? Looking for a motion.
Yeah.
You can read it.
Yeah,
Yes, I will, I'm gonna make a motion, and then we will announce it, but I will make a motion to approve the proclamation for Village of Goodrich National Public Safety Telecommunications Week for April 13th through the 19th of 2025.
all right.
Support.
Okay, we got a motion and support. All in favor of the National Public Safety Telecommunicators proclamation, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? All right,
so, read.
yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
So the proclamation for the Village of Goodrich National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 13th through the 19th, 2025. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Genesee County 911 Emergency Communication Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Genesee County 911 Emergency Communication Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Goodrich declares the week of April 13th through the 19th, 2025 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the Village of Goodrich in honor of the men and women who diligence and professionalism keeps our village and citizens safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. I actually called 911 the other day because there was a metal folding chair in the middle of the road on I-75. And the guy's like, tell me your location. He said, I don't know where I'm at, but by next year, going southbound. And he said, next to your place. I said, he goes, I will send somebody. I go, that would be absolutely atrocious for like a semi to hit a folding chair.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So they were very prompt. So, and they felt very good. Thank you for all you do.
We always like to hear that.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I mean, you're welcome to stay. I mean, this is riveting stuff. You know, they're making you leave. Oh, all right. So that is done. So next is to set a public hearing to consider ordinance number 97A, Consumers Energy Company Gas Franchise Ordinance, Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
This is a renewal from one we've already had on the books for many years. It's just a renewal. Every 30 years, we renew it.
Very nice. So then I will make that motion to set the public hearing for ordinance number 97-A for Consumers Energy Gas Company franchise ordinance to be on Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
I'll support. So we have a motion and support to set the public hearing. All in favor of the public hearing, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, public hearing set May 12th, 6 p.m. for consumers. Next, consider adoption of ordinance number 2025-01 to regulate the storage of batteries.
This has been discussed so much, and I feel like everything was altered and edited to make it what we all agreed upon. So I will make that motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-01.
I got comments.
What you do, I'm sorry.
Yep, no, you're all right.
But normally you put a motion on the floor before you do the comments.
Okay.
Or just put it on the floor, then you have discussion.
Then I will make my motion to adopt ordinance 2025-1, the regulation of storage of batteries.
Okay, do we have any discussion?
We sure do. I had lunch the other day with the chief of the fire chief. We talked about batteries and I learned a lot from him. I learned that one of the biggest cause of batteries is e-bikes. Storage of e-bikes, he said. And, you don't store your lithium ion battery in the sunlight. You don't store them close to each other. If one ignites, I guess they ignite really hot and they'll go burn the other ones down. And you take them off the charger when you're done. So I didn't know that. But as far as I'm concerned with the ordinance, I don't really see us getting involved as much as maybe the township and the fire department should get involved. I don't know what rules we would go under for an ordinance.
It's right there.
Well, I mean,
You got
you come to my house and said, how many batteries? you have?
Nobody's gonna come to your house. We're gonna recommend how things need to be stored. No, we're not gonna do that.
But,
This is for the major, bigger places.
you know, an ordinance is a law.
I know
It-
that.
It's a law.
I'm
that
aware
you
of that.
go to Jail for,
Mhm, mhm,
it's a law you get fined on.
mhm.
To me, it's not, we don't need more laws. We need education. We need somehow to get this information out to the public.
Well, these are recommended by the Genesee County and the state of Michigan and the federal government's planning commissions. This is what was recommended. That's why I brought it
Oh,
before.
you're right. I mean, I can see that, but I just don't see us in the driver's seat right now. I think the fire department is in the driver's seat. And it says here on some of the
I
business.
don't understand what do you mean, them in the driver's seat. They can't
Atlas Township-
adopt,
Atlas Township.
Atlas
yeah.
Township could, but they can't adopt, the fire department cannot
Atlas
adopt an
Township,
ordinance.
yes. And they're the fire department, Atlas Township Fire Department. They're the ones that should be adopting this. And it says here, storage of batteries comply with fire code regulations.
Yep.
The general public has no idea what a fire code regulation is that's storing your
They,
batteries.
they would get that.
And that's what I'm saying.
That would be
It's-
available.
It's not in the code. We need information to the public.
Mhm.
And put it in the taxes when they get it, put it in the brochures they can pick up. I think the subject is great. I think we need that, but the application, no, it's not good, not the way it's put.
I agree with you. But I do think that we need something like this. Only because, when we had a formal Parks and Rec committee, and it's funny that you mentioned e-bikes because I didn't know about this either, but since you mentioned it, when we had the formal Parks and Rec committee and we would meet, there were like, it was, e-bikes were like the thing of the future, like these electric bikes were gonna be fantastic, battery powered bikes. And they talked about potentially having like e-bikes to rent in the park. So let's say we had, Mike's e-bikes who, wants to, have his e-bikes out in the park for rent. And he's, it's 104 and we lost all the trees in the park and it's just sun beating down. What what do we do with this? I mean, and you say, education. I agree that we need to educate people, but I will revert back to when I was taking driver's training. If you don't stop at a red light because you didn't know you were supposed to, ignorance is no excuse to break the law. So I would say that, people do need to educate themselves. I would hope that if people have, electric cars, that they're reading how to properly store their batteries, or they're being educated on that type of thing when they purchase the electric vehicle. The e-bike's the same thing, but just to cover our butts, I live out in the middle of no place, and my neighbor has a shed that's, 500 feet from my house, and he's storing batteries in there, and it's hot, and all of a sudden his shed blows up because he's not storing them properly, and now my house is on fire. I mean, that's not my problem. That's you violated an ordinance that they weren't stored properly. And the fire department would be able to determine that in a case of a disaster. But I think we do need something like this. I'm not saying like Matt's gonna be deputized and go around door to door making sure people's batteries are stored properly, but I think it's a need because of electric everything that's coming. I mean, we have batteries and everything.
I can give my 2 cents. I know offhand, like my husband and son have these ginormous RC cars, and when it came with a specific, almost like a lunchbox, and said, store your batteries in these, and gave, so the literature came with it. I think we should have something, a very generic, we could find how to store your stuff, and let's look prepared and have this out to the public first, and then say, interested in how to store your batteries, stop by the village and pick up a flyer. And that way we look even more prepared that we put this in order and we're providing the education to the residents if they want, or we can post it online on Facebook. We can say, this new ordinance is passed. Are you in line? Here's how to keep your battery safe. And at least we have something down because we've gone through all the steps, and I think that we've put in the work to make it go into place, and that we should. But I like the idea of having something informative and saying, we have this here for you, we provided it for you. And we could probably Google, like, how to tell people how to store batteries correctly, and something will pop up and we can print out a flyer.
I just think the fire department is the person, or not fire department. The Atlas Township Fire Department is the one to monitor this because they are the knowledgeable ones. General public doesn't have a clue. They do. And we don't need another law on the books at this time through the village. That's my feeling. I mean, I just can't see it at this time.
See, with all the electric stuff, that's where, I mean, I agree that I think it like that the fire department should be monitoring this type of thing, but again, I mean, are they driving around checking it out, or do they wait for a disaster to happen? I would say that they wouldn't be called until a disaster's happen.
Well, that's with anything, I think,
Right.
Yeah.
But I also think that with electric everything, electric vehicles, electric bikes, electric skateboards, electric boats they have now, there's just so much. And I think that, whether or not this 100% pertains to today, it could pertain greatly down the road. And what do we wait for? Something horrible to happen because, I have a family of 6 and we all have electric something, and I wasn't storing my stuff properly, and now there's nothing in place to say that I was negligent. Where this, I think, would tie all of that together. So that's all the discussion I have. Yep, and we have a motion on the floor to approve the ordinance of the storage of batteries. So we have a motion on the floor. I'll support. So because it's an ordinance, Pat, I'm gonna let you do a roll call.
Pretty sure. No.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
McCafferty,
Yes. Okay, so that goes through. Next is consider adoption of ordinance number 2025-02 to regulate businesses within the village of Goodrich to protect public health, safety, and welfare, ensure compliance with applicable laws, and promote the economic well-being of the community. And this one had to do with the business licenses.
I like that it was changed to a no fee, which we all discussed, and I really appreciate the owner and operator request for information as well as an emergency contact, because we do know that sometimes the owner might not be present, might not be in the city or the state, and having a person of contact that can be reached if there is an emergency is fantastic. And that this also does not have it's not a yearly renewal. It's good for the term of the owner and non-transferable. So with that being said, I am on board with that, but if you guys have discussion before a motion,
Well, now we have to make a motion before we have discussion.
then I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-02 to regulate businesses within the village of Goodrich, protect public health, safety, and welfare, ensure compliance with applicable laws, and promote the economic well-being of the community.
Discussion, we have a motion on the floor, any discussion?
Yes,
All right,
okay, again, I'm not for this. It's a law. We don't need any laws that, interfere with any kind of a business. I've been from day one, I've said the thing we need is a book of businesses. A book that we have all this information in, kept. We can keep it at townships, we can keep it in the village, we can keep it at the fire department,
It should be made available online so that.
and available online. And it tells you everything we need about a business. And then you just leaf through it. We don't bother them, every year. And, you said there's no fee involved, which that's good too. But let's say they don't want to do the license. I've been in business 10 years, I don't want to do the license. Well, what are you gonna do to me? It says here, you go to court, you can be fined, you can be in jail. Come on now, that's not how we operate. We want businesses to come in and we want to be helpful with them. And yet we want to know information that would help fire department and anybody else regarding that. And that's why I say a book of businesses is what we need.
I like the idea of book business. The only thing is it can't be public knowledge because of personal information. It can only be to, those significant people, the fire chief, Sherry, etc. But it can't have.
Well, that's fine, then we don't show the book. I mean, we just show who needs to be shown.
who's gonna gather the information?
Pardon me?
Who's gonna gather the information?
The same people that would gather information, gather license. Who's gonna gather a license?
We would send out the application with a letter of explanation.
Well, then we send out an application with a business book, and for an application, they send it back to us. Just, you send an application for a license.
Who's
I
gonna
send an
keep track,
application
when,
for-
who's gonna keep
book
track of when the
business.
business walks out in the middle of the night or closes up in the middle of the night and a new one comes in? Who's gonna keep track of that?
You know, I've been in this village for 40 years. And I'll bet you I know every business in this village, and I know about every business that goes and comes. And if
Okay.
I don't, other people here do. And it isn't like a city. I mean, this is a small community. And if we don't know what's going on in our small community, shame on us.
How do we know that the business is allowed within the zoning of where it's at?
What do you mean, how do it?
Zoning,
Because they look in the pieces of paper they fill out, tells us the information we need. We can double check back in the village here and see if it's in the zoning.
so you want the application without the ordinances, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want some of the application that they fill out here. uh, Without an ordinance.
And I
Sure.
agree with that, and I'm on board with that, this has been a huge discussion between, like, the six of us with Sherry too, because it is a rock and hard place, like, I told her one day, I said, did you know that, the nutrition place closed? Oh, I didn't know it closed, what's going on? We don't know, and we have no way of knowing what's gonna go in there, because the landlord approves who comes and goes, we have no idea, but can we force it? I don't know, I don't think so, but she said, yes, we can go and ask them what they do for business, so it's a very awkward, because like you said, we're a tight-knit community, we're small, we should be able to have that communication, but if some people don't want to tell us what they do, can we force them? I mean, we can we not? I don't know. This is a very sticky situation.
Business that goes in, and you suspect that that business does not belong in that zoning, and usually it's pretty apparent. You would have every right to tell that person, you can't do that here, you're not zoned for it, you're gonna have to get your piece of property rezoned, or I mean, we've done that for years, that part of it, you don't have to worry about.
Right, the reason why I like the idea of an ordinance, not so much because, I think we're gonna be taking businesses to court, but it makes it more official to fill out the form instead of just, we're trying to come up with a book. So we have, points of contact in case there's an emergency. Now, Melissa and I had a conversation, and I used the example of, I'm coming into town and I'm saying I'm a bakery. And, okay, yay, yeah, you fit right here, exactly where you want to be. And then months later, you find out that I'm making pot brownies. Well, that's not allowed. Now, had we known that, Shannon's Bakery was really Shannon's Green Bakery, maybe I wouldn't have been allowed to go into that place. I would have to change my plan. And to make things more like there's a potential consequence to misrepresentation, I think is a good idea, because again, I could say, I'm a bakery, I'm making muffins, but you didn't know that I was, making special brownies and special muffins. And that's not allowed in the village because of an ordinance that we have. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, like how does this get enforced? And again, I mean, we've had people that have violated ordinances that we've worked with, that the code enforcer has worked with, like, hey, you can't have your lawn looking like this. What's the problem? What can we do? What can we do to help you to fix this? That's always the first step, instead of, you know what, Melissa, you have violated this. Here's your ticket. We'll see you in court. That's not how the village operates. I think we are a welcoming and a friendly community. But I think without a consequence to a wrongdoing, or, a deliberate violation of an existing ordinance, which there is the potential to do that. I like the idea of something formal. I agree that I don't think that we're gonna be, because you didn't fill out this paperwork, that, we're gonna take you to court now. I mean, maybe there's a misunderstanding of why we need this. Maybe the word license is a bad word in this, because they've already gotten a business license through the state. There's not a requirement to have a business license for a municipality when they do it through the state. So maybe a business license is the wrong wording.
Business information.
Right. And just to be part of that, and I would think that a business within the community would want to be part of something like that, where, oh, okay, yeah, you guys are looking out for us and, our neighbors and what have you. So, I mean, I don't see a a bad thing with it other than maybe the word license. Because I mean,
How about-
there's not
How
gonna be,
about permit, like we have permits for everything else?
yeah, a permit, like a business, point of contact, emergency contact, form. You know, that, you know, I think it's a good idea that we have. I mean, if something were to happen, like, let's say horrible happen and the fire department goes and puts water on a grease fire and it's not fixing the problem, it's only making it worse. Had they known, maybe less damage would be done. You know, but I think to me, it's a safety thing. It's not a revenue thing, and it's definitely not let's spend the day at the courthouse trying to find people for doing this. I think it's more that there's a consequence. You know, I don't pay my mortgage payment, if it doesn't say in the paperwork that I could be foreclosed, well, guess what? I'm not doing it.
That's in the devil in the details. I mean.
Right. Right, but again, I mean, you have to, you know, I don't know, I think with a sense of a consequence, maybe a different title instead of business license. I think maybe that word is throwing some stigma in. I'm not sure.
And it's going to be a bumpy start because like, how are we storing these? Are we storing them by address? Are we storing them by name? Like, you know, when the place next to Libby's gets rented out, because it's for lease right now, how do we know? Who do we approach when that happens? Do they come to say, hey, we just rented somebody, they're gonna start a real estate business? You know, I think those kinks are gonna have to get worked out, and I feel like our office staff is going to do that in a good fashion. It's something new. And it has, you know, it's gonna have a few hiccups, but I think the license word is a good word to eliminate, and like you said, I think if it's addressed in the right way, that most people are like, yeah, what do you wanna know? Who's my manager or something, I'm here, who's in, yeah, I'll let you know the information. I don't think we're asking too much pertinent information here that's like divulging too much at all. I'm nervous about with so many places coming and going sometimes, are we gonna be able to keep up on it? But hopefully they want to, like you said, for the whole, just, you know, where this is happening, or this is coming up, or we need to contact you about this, we'll have information for that. That's what I see as the biggest benefit, is having contact information.
And there's a question there, if you go about business information, owner operator information, details, attachments, emergency, that can all be in a book of businesses. You know? That's so simple. We've got this book of businesses with all this information you're talking about.
Right, but we have to get it from them somehow, that's what this is for. is to
Well,
get
you
that.
gotta get it somehow from if you license them, or if you, look at information, somehow they've gotta fill out something to you. And it's all an approach. I mean, I've never had a problem asking people to do things, especially if it doesn't cost them anything, and it's for their benefit. I mean, the fire department might wanna know some of this, and just all you gotta do is explain it to them. These people, these businesses in town are they'll bend over backwards for you. They love Goodrich, and that's why they came here. And I don't wanna discourage them and start doing something that, after I explain this to them, they would understand. Here we're making a book of businesses. This is to help you. What do you think? That's my opinion.
Okay, any other discussion?
I'm just right down that, so.
I see it both ways. I know that in the past, some businesses, haven't been so easy to work with when you're trying to get information or trying to resolve issues. And this is going back to my days of 2014, 2015. This is going back 10 years. But not, I'd like to think that it was always a cakewalk, but it's not always. And I think something without, you know, introducing something without a potential consequence to misrepresenting, could potentially pose a problem.
You do it my way first, if it doesn't work, we'll do it your way out.
Or how about we do it my way first, and if it doesn't work, then we'll just revote, we can redo it. No, we can play a tit for tat game. Okay, so, but for the, business license, I think the word license is causing, some of the problem. Because we think that they've already been licensed, so, Sherry, what word did you use?
She said permit.
Permit.
Forms.
Yeah,
So.
right, it doesn't, yeah, it's not. So I think instead of business license,
Just say
maybe
business
just
info.
business info / points of contact,
Book of
Because-
businesses,
pardon?
book of business.
Right, but you're not filling out a book, you know, the business is just filling out one page of the book.
Can we,
Yeah, a business,
Registration.
yeah,
Info.
village, how about this? Village business registration form. That way, I mean, there's no fee to the registration form. You're just letting the village know that this is who we are. These are our like emergency points of contact. And
and this information will be kept in a folder or a book, right?
right, and we can,
Not out for the world. No.
right, no, we'll have to share it with the fire. Yes, the LUCIC manual. LUCIC project 2025. I don't mean that negative.
Format edits, like to make lines, balance stuff, more line space.
Yeah, we can always amend or like revamp the form. But, if we changed it to that, so we have a motion. And, the change of village business registration form.
I would like to see us table this for now and come back with what you're talking about. And show the different forms that, you know, that we would be worried or. working
Okay.
with, and give us a better idea of how that scenario is gonna go.
Well, it would just, I can tell you how the scenario is gonna go. The wording's just gonna be different at the top here, and these lines are just gonna be more justified instead of them being like where zip code is kind of indented from business address. That zip code line would go out to the end of the
Why
top
don't,
line.
why don't we do this? Because what you're doing, we can't do that. We'll have to start all over again with an ordinance. And I'll have to change, or I have to change it
Oh,
up.
okay,
So
so,
why don't we say no to this
okay,
and
and
create
review it,
a policy?
a policy,
Let's create a policy.
okay. I
Look at
like
this.
that.
Policy.
So make a motion to deny this, please, and let's
Okay.
move on.
Okay.
And I will create the policy and bring that back to you guys,
Okay,
okay?
perfect. Why didn't you say this 20 minutes ago?
Because
We're
we're
sitting here
policy-
bantering back and forth.
We go see you.
Yeah, way to go.
Well, you pay me the big bucks.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. So,
So we have a motion on the floor to adopt. You want to rescind that
I'm going to
motion?
rescind my motion to adopt the ordinance 20-25-02. I'm going to make a new motion to disapprove this ordinance and proceed with a new policy in the near future.
Before,
okay, so we have a motion and support. All in favor of this coming up later as a policy, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
So they denied the adoption of the ordinance. Okay? Denied the adoption of the ordinance. And we'll review it as a policy.
This would have been
Okay.
great to. Okay, okay, moving on quickly. We are on E. Consider adoption of ordinance number 2025-03. This ordinance aims to regulate vehicle repair activities in residential zone to preserve the visual appeal, safety, and overall quality of life within the village of Goodrich. I'm gonna make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-03 to regulate vehicle repair activities in residential zones.
Yeah, I've got a comment.
So we have a motion. Do we have any?
Okay, can I ask you to take that back? It's gonna be 02 instead of 03. Okay?
Okay,
Make it
change that to
02.
02.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we want them to be consecutive.
Cause that number is,
Yep.
Yep.
So 2025-02 ordinance aims to regulate vehicle repair.
Right.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Yes,
Yes.
I think everybody knows this ordinance is on the book now. What we're doing is filling in some of the gaps that what loopholes in the old ordinance that allow people to work on their cars in their side yard or front yard, whatever. So this isn't a new ordinance, it's strengthening our old. ordinance.
clarifying.
Clarified, yes.
Yeah.
Well, then I will support.
Okay, so we have a motion and support. So all in favor of ordinance number 2025-02, ordinance to regulate vehicle repair activities in residential zones to prevent the visual, or to preserve the visual appeal, safety, and overall quality of life within the village of Goodrich. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we just preserved visual appeal. Next is authorized purchase of bed liner for Freightliner dump truck, cost of $1,860 from RRR Supply Inc. I am going to say that I believe that this is a great idea.
It's the best asphalt line on the market.
And because we keep our equipment for decades and decades and decades, I think lining the bed of this is a great idea because you can throw, rocks and gravel and branches and whatever in there and it will protect the bed liner. Matt, the bed liner in that, is that stainless?
No, it's actually an insert, the big gravel transfer, it's like a half-inch thick, composite harder plastic.
Okay,
Basically to preserve the box, especially the bottom.
yeah, and the
So
box
it's all
is, the box is metal,
Stainless steel.
stainless steel, okay. So,
It is recommended for we got the truck from it, they recommend to preserve that.
right, and
That's a good
since we
idea.
keep our equipment forever and ever and ever, and the amount of money that we spent on the equipment, I think, this $1,800 is a good investment to preserve that. Not to mention, if we decided that, hey, every 5 years we want a new vehicle, this will add value.
Question. So this liner, top, side, bottom, back. is
They
a-
go,
is a insert or not?
It goes halfway up the sides, it comes in a certain width,
Right,
and it goes up halfway up the sides.
in the back also.
Half of it. Looks like it goes all the way.
The bulkhead, yes.
Okay.
Well, with that, I will make a motion to authorize the purchase of the bed liner for the Freightliner dump truck at a cost of $1,860 from RRR Supply Incorporated.
For,
Okay, so we have a motion and support, and Pat, this has to deal with money, you know what to do.
Lucid,
yes,
Swins.
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes. All right,
this was in Munger.
Yes. Yep.
okay, next is to Next is to authorize the upgrade of 2 remaining computers to Windows 11 by VC3 at a total cost of $600.
This is, the computer, extra computer that our auditor uses when she's here. And anyone else that may need it, and the other one is Laura's computer.
Okay,
This is a company we work with anyways.
yeah,
I'll make a motion to authorize the upgrade of the 2 remaining computers to Windows 11 by VC3 at a total cost of $600.
Or
so we have a motion and support. Because it's money, Pat, roll call.
Lucy,
yes,
Swins.
Yes.
McCaffrey.
Yeah. All right, upgrade. Next is authorize the removal and replacement of a wall-mounted equipment rack, patch panel and switch for the DPW and install 2, is that supposed to be outdoor
Yes.
rated category 6 network data drops from the office network rack to the new rack in the DPW building. Install 6 new network data drops, 3 desk locations, 1 in 1 IP camera location, and 1 wireless access point location by Cable Runners Company at a cost of $5,750. This is going to give them ample internet in the DPW area, correct?
Us too, it's gonna improve our internet, the wires, these are all the outside wires. And they haven't, I mean, they're over 20 years old and they're literally, if you grab them like that, they're crumbling.
Okay.
Now, did we already approve, if you refresh my memory, you guys have updated computers and everything?
Yes.
So there shouldn't be much more expense. This is just to make
This is
everything
gonna
run.
be, no, this is gonna, yeah, and-
Great. And we knew that this was coming when they said they were falling apart.
correct,
Do you know a time frame of this happening? Is it like
pretty
a,
quick as soon as,
it's like a 1-day project or,
well, maybe 2, I don't know.
yeah, rip out the old stuff?
Yes.
All right, and like cable runners?
Cable runners.
Cable. Well, I know this was probably well thought about and everybody did their job, so I will make a motion to authorize all the work done by cable runners at a cost of $5,750.
I will, oh, okay, we have a motion and Mr. Lucic, supported. So Pat, again, money,
Lucy,
yes,
Swins.
Yes,
McCaffrey.
yes,
And that company is who VC3 works with other places, so they recommended them.
nice. Okay, next, is authorize VC3 to install Cisco Catalyst Ethernet switch, 24 ports, manageable, this is language I don't.
Gigabyte,
Gigabyte Ethernet plus
unified.
Unify and professional U6 Pro dual band access point indoor with a 1X or one-time network. RJ45 gigabit Ethernet wall mountable, ceiling mountable, IP54 plus. Cost of professional services configuration and installation at a cost of $22,735.97.
So in other words,
Thank
when
you.
all the other wiring gets all done, the previous one you just approved, VC3 comes in, installs and replaces the things that's in this building. So it's up to date with what they're gonna have, and it'll all be new, and they're gonna, VC3 will then configure it, attach it and configure it, make sure everything works.
Okay. Okay, because yeah, I just was reading Greek and I have no idea what that means. So, okay, so VC3 is gonna come in and make sure that what's done to the DPW and what's done in here all communicates together, everybody has computer access, everything works how it should be.
so no ports come with the work that they're doing out there. You have to buy the 2 new ports from this company.
Well, that's VC3.
Yeah.
They're the ones that do it.
All right. All right. well, we'll be up and running and then Sherry can just start talking to us in gigabyte language. And
That's right.
Great. That's.
now let's make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve, line item I for the configuration installation at a cost of $2,735.97 from VC3.
Or,
So we have a motion and support. It's money, Pat?
McCaffrey,
Yes.
Swins,
Yes.
Lucy,
yes,
Okay, next. Authorize wage trim services at a cost not to exceed $2,500 to provide estimated cost for 4 village projects to apply for the call for projects fiscal year 2027 federal local safety program, highway safety improvement systems, and high-risk rural road program to install a crosswalk at M15 and Erie, a crosswalk at West Hilo Road and Clarence Street, a sidewalk on Ridge Road between Green Road and West Eagle Road, a sidewalk on East Eagle Road from M15 East to the village limits.
This is fantastic.
The application that I have to fill out, and it's due May 1st, requires a cost estimate. I do have no idea. And that's something that Wade Trim does for us, and it's part of their agreement, you know, that it's overall with our agreement that we have with them for the year.
So I freaked out first and I thought it was an hourly fee of that number there, but I saw it says hourly fee to not exceed. And that's for all 4 projects combined.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say that if you guys had time to read over everything Sherry put in this, everything she wants to send in on May 1st, it's fantastic. Hopefully she wins them over with all of her words and her reasonings. So absolutely, I think this has to happen. I hope it happens. So I will make a motion to approve the cost for wage term services, provide the estimates as listed, to not exceed $2,500 for all of the projections.
well, I'll support it, but I'm not a fan of wage trim, as everybody probably knows. And as far as I'm concerned, we might want to go shopping for other engineers.
I can respect that. But I really hope this happens. So May 1st is
Yeah,
Creeping
that's a different agenda line item. So we have a motion and support, and because it's money, Pat?
Lucy,
Yes,
Swins,
yes.
McCaffrey,
Yes. Next, set at least
Okay.
3, pardon?
Okay.
Oh, shoot. Hey, I put a check mark next to K already. Thank you. Enter into contract between the Village of Goodrich and Atlas Township to have the village DPW maintain the walking path located on West Eagle Road from the village limits westerly to the first entrance to the Goodrich High School for 7 months, a year, once a month, starting in April through October of each year at a cost of $700 per year to be paid to the village, to be paid in full at the beginning of April each year. So this is just to, we've done this before with the township where we maintain the walking path because we're already cleaning it. So, instead of stopping and then having the township contract somebody out, it just makes sense. To have our guys do it and then the township reimburse us for it. So, Sherry has, talked with the township, has gone over the numbers, and the $700 is what was, calculated for like labor, material, like material use and stuff.
And they approved it at their last.
And I will make the motion to approve the contract between the Village of Goodrich and Atlas Township to have our DPW maintain the walking path on West Eagle from the limits down to the first entrance of the high school.
special. What do you guys do in regards to maintain that?
Sweeping only, I don't know if it's specified in there, that's sweeping only.
It's just keeping it clean.
You've got that broom in front of your The tractor there sweeping.
It's the one that's outside the fence here on the other side.
Right. Weed whacking or anything, or just sweeping?
No,
it?
just leave it
It
alone.
just says the removal of debris, dirt, and any other obstructions necessary to keep the path safe and usable.
Okay.
You're not doing like your erosion
Right,
runoff.
we're not cracks.
No.
Cracks. Nothing like that.
No, just keeping the path
No support.
clear. Okay, so we have a motion and support, and since this is money coming in, Pat?
Oh, yeah, it's okay with me.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Swins.
Yes.
McCafferty.
Yes. Okay, oh, with the, yeah, next, setting the three dates. Because everybody is not here to look at a calendar, is that something that you could push out to us via email?
Well, you,
To pick
yes,
some
and I
dates.
just keep this in front of you and just send back to me what works for each of you.
Okay,
And then when I get everybody's information, then I can narrow it down. Usually it only takes 2 meetings, but we'd like to do, set up 3 for certainty.
right, okay. And if I could ask that an email be sent out to remind everybody to do this, because we know how we all get busy.
So you're gonna make a motion to postpone this and direct the administrator to.
Yes, I make a
contact-
motion
send
to
out a-
postpone item number or letter L and direct the administrator to send an email reminding us all to respond with dates that work for us. Good?
Baseball and softball.
Oh. I have nothing. That's a girl.
All right, good job.
Okay, so, I made a motion, we need some.
I will support that
Okay.
motion to have Sherry email us to remind us to send her dates of availability.
Okay, all in favor of emailing us dates, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're getting email. Check your email, everybody. Next is public comment. This can be public comment on, anything you'd like to comment on. And, remember, it is public comment, not question and answer. If you do have a question in your comment, we'll try and answer it at council comments. If we cannot, because we don't know, again, we'll direct it to
Yep.
staff and have them answer. So we don't provide wrong information. So, any public comment? Yes, please.
One thing I like the idea of being able to come to and find where a business is. Because I had a situation. I had a picture my mom and dad took on their 50th wedding anniversary. It was done in Grand Blanc. But I tried to find to get more pictures because it was professional, it's gotta be a certain length of time before you can get them done. They have no record of who's in there. So it would have been nice if you had a record and you were able to go back to it and tell somebody that moves in that, yes, this was the business and maybe where they went, if they're giving you that information when they move up. But on the other flip side of that, if they're renting from somebody, why doesn't the person that owns the property have to tell you something about the renters? I mean, it's kind of like you're asking them for information, but they don't own the building. They don't, they can rent it to whoever they want to. That's where, if you want to know something about somebody, it's where the person that's renting it out, they have the control. You don't have the control who they're renting it to. So if they rent it out and they have a contract and you say, well, that's not the kind of business we want here. You don't really have, they already have a contract to rent it. So it's kind of, and a lot of these are rentals,
been a long time since Willow Point or Willow, whatever that one was, when they owned that business and owned the building. Maybe the dog groomer bought it, maybe.
Don't know.
Yeah, well, I know my friend gets her dog groomed there.
Oh.
So I mean, but maybe she bought, I think she might own
Yes, no.
it. Just.
No, good comment.
Like I said, it's a rock in the hard
Stuff
place.
like
Very
that, you gotta think about
touchy
all the
situation.
angles on it.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I was trying to find that photographer and I called Graham Blank, they don't keep any records. What I ended up doing was going to the state of Michigan site where they get the, the licensing thing and looking it up, and that license had not been renewed for a certain length of time. So then I knew that they weren't around anymore doing business. So.
Good to know, thank you. Any other comment? Okay, so I will close public comment. Next is council comments. And, I'll start. Jonathan, had contacted me and asked me to bring this up. He was talking with Mr. Bosler, who is the superintendent of schools. And they have been working with the township and MDOT to replace the, like the school championship signs that we have. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 locations that they're at. And they haven't been updated, since at least 2014. And they've come up with, a new plan and new signs. I know that you guys cannot see this, but I will pass this around. This map here is where the signs are. These are the current, signs as to how they look. And this is what the school has come up with to replace those signs. They look amazing. They're very nice, they're very new. It recognizes like our football team, from this year, our robotics team, our girls' basketball team. We have some, people who have done great things at the schools and have won these championships and haven't been, recognized. So the school has, gotten funding to get those signs, and that we can expect to see new signs out. So, that was kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah.
And Mr. Basler wanted the village to know, because he has schools in both the village and the township, and it shouldn't just be kept at the township level. So he wanted it brought to the village as well. So I told Jonathan that I would mention that.
These signs basically represent a team, right?
Right, the Goodrich High School's teams, like their robotics team, they won a state championship. The high school football team this year won the state championship. Girls basketball.
We've got some coaches that have set records. too.
Yeah,
I just wondered if they were thinking about mentioning it.
that I don't know. That I don't know. I'm just the messenger. So some really neat stuff, it has like the Martian logo and stuff on it. So I thought that it was kind of cool. So that's my council comment. Anybody have any council comments? Of course.
I can pick them. When, they're changing that day of trash.
Mhm.
How are people gonna know?
They said they're sending a postcard to every
They
resident.
would do something.
Yeah, Republic's supposed to send
Okay. Cool.
yeah, hopefully they do what they're supposed to do.
I don't know.
Hey, I might have good news soon about the water behind my sub soon, but hopefully, yeah,
Oh,
it might
okay,
be soon with
okay,
things, but we're gonna
stay-
keep that a little low till it's done, but
Stay tuned.
yeah, stay tuned.
Stay
Woo,
tuned.
Big stuff.
All right, so next on the agenda is adjournment. I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will support that.
So, all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're done.
Little bags for that.
You're not quite, Shannon.
I know, I know.
Matt, when you want that door.
I'll take 2 hours. 30 to wait.